Well, as we over here in on this side of the engine, a few days ago I shined this part up, you know. That's one of them cases where that all sparkles is not gold, it's brass. But I done shined this thing up. If you remember the story that I tell sometimes about this part, is some years back, a lot of years back, past, I'm not sure on what year it was, but as I'm here buffing on this thing a little bit, just shine it up, you know, show it a little class. But this part right here, this is a factory part. It goes on this engine right here. Going to go on this engine. But this part was the only part that I could save from an engine that was so bad that this was the only part that was savable. Once I got it. I think it had been rescued from a creek bank or something, maybe in the middle of the stream. And it showed the wear and tear. Wasn't much there. A good friend, Charlie, down in West Kentucky area, and his friend Barry was there that day. I'm pretty sure the two of them was. And Charlie well versed in these international M's. Charlie knows a lot about these engines. But anyways, I got the engine from him and took it home, and I saved that part. It's an original, come from the factory. It's brass. It was sand cast finished, and I buffed it down. But I did leave it in the back there as it was cast to attest to its originality. But I'm going to put it on this engine here, you know. I had it set aside for that black engine in there that I always called it that Jack Daniels engine. I thought this should go real good on it. But, you know, being I'm working on this one here, yeah, green label ain't too bad. I'll put this on this green label here.
Light on this end.
Huh?
There's not a lot of light on this end.
Was we gonna move some stuff around?
It's whatever you want to do.
Huh?
It's whatever you want to do.
Like a 15-20 minute project?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Like that engine that the other day that we talked about.
Which one? The one down here
Yeah.
somewhere? Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's some stuff to do to get that out. But
where are you going to? Where you gonna put it after that? Back in the same spot?
No. Up here on the second layer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
up here.
Yeah.
I mean, just move that other stuff. Move it out. You know it. Peanut butter and chocolate.
No, I think it's fudge. The mixture of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? But actually, I made them two parts today. It's a little much to attack right now, but because I don't have enough room. But the reason for this little intro is to make amends for the last video that I was scan around the room too fast. But to say the least, I am kind of proud of them. They're pretty cool, ain't son?
Oh yeah.
And amongst this, the question on that I get a comment a lot is persons watches the channel wants to looking for parts, and like I think like the time you bought them 100 engines and part of these right here was them. You remember it was 26 of these, wasn't it?
It was.
And and they're here and to be repaired, and that is the reason that, you know, if I have 2 EK magnetos, you know, I got 5 engines down there covered up. We'll look at them tomorrow. Just saying, making amends for not having parts for sale and constantly on the lookout for them. But I will get out there in a minute. Well, you know, I would think, Lige, we ought to say, like, happy holidays to, who else? Bobby? Real-time TV. You know, worth the price. Man.
Oh, that's funny.
But what prompted my channel, Lige, you see about where I am here?
Yeah.
If you come back here and you look through look at my thing right here, you see that picture?
Yeah.
Okay, if you get a old copy of Gas Engine Magazine, there is a picture almost identical to this in the factory assembly line. That looks like assembly line waiting. That's pretty cool. The ever famous Baylor, the whole year. We should say thanks to all them engine people, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we a little late though.
Huh?
A little late. But on time.
And another question too, if you know about that little boiler right there, about what size injector I would need for that, any help on that little thing right there would be appreciated. You know, injection pump. It's a far tube boiler. About 1 foot by 16, I think, is the size. About 1-inch tubes, and there's a whole bunch of them.
Because you could take a picture of that, and that's a video. Take a picture of that, and then that'd be like that's what I do anyway.
Oh, you mean like this engine right here? I could tell about this engine. That kind of was the start of it all, and the story that I would tell was the first time, the first person that seen this engine said, "Hey, that looks like Jack Daniels," and I kind of think it does too.
But that engine's been many different colors, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you probably should start it up, but probably should start that one down there too. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. That's all I'm going to say about that right there. Well, I think the color combination was like 1936. They had a red flywheel, I think. But that's one of them other kind of magnetors on there. Works really good. And that's one of them early styles right there. Maybe Waco, maybe. I'm not, no. And another one that just kind of let to, you know, have a picture on the internet that you can actually do that right there, the engine run. I'm not going to drag it out right here today and get at it, but it can be done. Boy, that's not good. Man, I used to talk about other people let their engines sit around like that, you know.
We'll start them up. We'll drag them out.
To like, you know, you shove an engine underneath a bench and just kind of, this is one should be out there on the work floor, you know.
It's definitely unique.
I didn't build this, but it was an auction sale in Ohio, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Do you remember how much we paid for there?
I do not.
There wasn't much else engines at that sale, was there?
It was like 7 total or something, 6 total engines.
Well, yeah.
I done zoomed in.
Huh?
See, I'd have done this right here. If I was directing.
Yeah, okay, let's hold on that for a little while then.
You know what I mean? That's what I would have done. Because we're talking about this little thing.
Okay. Well.
And take out all other distractions. Because that is the star of the show.
Up to this point right here. And the reason it's out is to be laid up a couple more days on this medical trip I'm on with the doctor and all. Quite a side trip, I might say. How would you rate it, Lige?
Well, being that you've never been to the doctor,
Yeah.
I'd say it was definitely a trip, to say the least.
Well, to be honest, like I professed that it might be a good thing that I haven't taken any medication since at least the year, like 1998. How many years is that?
Not a tablet one.
Not even aspirin.
Yeah. You started building this project right here in 2001.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where I got to, and I put it in a box, and it only needs 2 more parts, and these wheels turned out.
Well,
and that's what I'm going to do.
That is 25 years.
Okay, and the good part about this is there is a man, Rudy. Do you know how to say this? That word right there. It's a tough one. You give it.
Conput.
Okay, you might be able to see it on the camera there.
Rudy-kouhoupt.
But he was a little skinny dude. I think he was white-headed, a little skinny scrapper. But anyways, to fill you in that chapter, that week of my life, I went to the Names show up in Detroit. I think it was over in South Point or somewhere at that time. But anyway, I went there in that little Toyota truck. And I met this guy, Rudy. This was a blueprint. And I bought this blueprint from him at that name show. And I paid $10 for it. I made a note on one of them.
What year do you think that was?
2001.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, this is it, and I built it up to this point. So, and I guess you call it just something to do that, like last couple of days been laid up. Then I resurfaced this, and so now that I've got it on video, I'm surely compelled to finish it if they can put me a ball joint in my hip.
Right. well, what's left on it? The base.
To turn these.
Okay.
And somebody else that me and you met.
Yeah.
And give us them tomatoes back in the summer.
Yeah.
He's building one of these, doing this same project that I'm going to have to do, put this on a faceplate and mold it down and turn it and face it. But anyways.
So all you got to do is turn this outer edge and put a hole here.
The irony of this whole thing is with my medical condition, and I'm thinking about metalworking.
Yeah.
Man, that's optimistic, ain't it?
Well, I mean, even this right here, you know.
I know, but I got a bad hip to deal with.
Well, we can get you up there to do this regardless.
Y'all come on back and we'll see if we can get it up. Alan Knowles is the one that gave us them tomatoes.
Alan Knowles?
Yeah. Right here's his card. This is a good dude.
Got a YouTube, right?
Yeah. Look him up, and he's doing some real good machine work, and he's working on one of these. Was maybe the inspire for me to get this one out and redecorate it. But it operates up to this point with the crankshaft and all. So, you know, that's much of nothing about nothing. But
so it needs a wood base.
yeah.
It needs a couple fittings up there to get air to it, right?
Yeah,
and
okay.
And it needs these machined, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. And we have the equipment up in the shop to do that with, pretty easy on that Grizzly. And I built this on that Shoreline lathe. This was a Shoreline build. Everything on there, I jigged it up on that Shoreline, a 3-inch lathe.
Mm-hmm. Would that lathe have done these, or was that the hold up?
I got distracted on a different project.
Oh yeah. So how do these flywheels affix to the crankshaft? It's not a give key, right?
No, set screw.
Set screw.
Yeah. For what it is.
Yes.
In real life, it would have had Yeah, they have a give key. I mean, if you was looking off that way, that's what you would see right now, man.